Hi guys, this is Fahad Aslam Khokar and I welcome you all to another episode of Side Hustle. Today I have an extremely talented writer with me. His name is Devansh. I met him recently and it's a pleasure that he is here with us. Devansh, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Devansh,
Yeah,
I
to be
know a
here.
bit about you, but I would like you to introduce yourself formally to our audience.
So I'm a freelance writer.
Okay,
Like I've worked for many popular tech blogs, and now recently I
okay.
published my debut novel.
Okay, so Devansh, tell me something that what this book is all about. Can you please describe briefly what your book is all about? Yeah.
So the book follows a hitman named Shantanu, who is working under a very powerful mob boss named Kshitij Bhosle. So mainly, the story is about Kshitij Bhosle assigns him Shantanu a very special kind of target. So it's actually a woman. So mainly it's mostly deals with like in the past is deal with men like other gangs and stuff. But for the first time it's a woman. And the thing is, so that woman is Kshitij Bhai's like girlfriend, and Kshitij Bhai is suspicious that she's cheating on him. So then he tells Shantanu that you should follow her for some time and find out the truth. Like, is she like faithful or not? And if she isn't, then he instructs Shantanu to just finish her, her and also the man that she's with. So that's the main thing. But then Shantanu actually goes to her and he meets her, and he actually becomes like friends with her. Right? He starts to like her, but then from then the story like unravels. Like he
Yeah.
realizes what is the truth, and then
Yeah.
he begins to question his loyalty to Kshitij. He sort of realizes that he can be his own man. He doesn't need
Yeah.
to work for
Yeah.
somebody else. So
Hmm.
that's the so mainly the story is
Yeah.
about uh, like finding redemption,
Redemption from
and
all this. Yeah.
yeah, whatever you are doing, you could change your life. So that's what it's about. Even such a man like a hitman, he could find redemption.
Yeah.
So that's what the story is about. Like changing your entire life by making some decisions. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. This also makes us feel that the people from underworld are no different from we, the normal people. Even a
Yeah.
middle class man who is working somewhere under some boss or any place which is literally very hard for him to live, we also want to get out of all this stuff. So we always want this redemption. So I think this is what your characters and your setting is also all about. Right. Very right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how come you came to this? You see, content writers are a bit boring. They could not do all that creative stuff. Normally, we believe in all that stuff. So how come you came to this novel thing and writing fictions? How come?
I've always liked fiction a lot. Like in terms of I've when many years ago I read Shantaram and
Shantanu.
Sacred Games, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
The Godfather, all those novels. So
Mario.
since
Yeah.
then I've been fascinated, yeah, Mario Puzo. So
Yeah.
since then I've been fascinated with fiction. So recently, and so I thought I should write my own novel as well. So
That's great. But why did you pick this genre of this crime world, this underworld? Were you inspired from Ram Gopal Verma, or is there any other reason?
yeah, that is actually it began with I think Munna Bhai MBBS. That's like when I
Okay,
learned about yeah. But then
okay,
when I saw Satya
yeah,
from Ram Gopal Verma, that was really that brought the truth of this like whole world to me. So
right,
that was yeah, that was a big inspiration. And also the character of Satya, which I think in my novel, the character of Shantanu, they have
yeah,
a few similarities in terms of like personality. So that was great.
yeah,
But overall, I've just been because I grew up in Bombay, I've been surrounded by these kinds of stories. Like
okay,
just growing up, I used to read the some of the stories like headlines and everything about the underworld. So I've been surrounded by that kind of atmosphere. So yeah, that and just overall, I've just always been fascinated. Like a lot of mafia movies and stuff, like The
yeah.
Godfather, of course. So yeah, and
But
also Goodfellas and Mean Streets.
yeah,
So
yeah, and all are literally great movies. But don't you think that we are fascinating and presenting underworld like a dream world? We are glamorizing it, and people, the next hero of people would be from the underworld rather than those fighting against those goons. People might start to become a goon after going through such content. What your perspective on this?
yeah, that is a thing, but
Yeah,
uh, like that, I think recently it's been sort of the reality has been shown. Like if you read
yeah,
novels like Sacred Games, then in
exactly.
Sacred Games, the character of Gaitonde has
Guy Thornton.
been the dark side. Yeah, it's been shown very honestly. So
Yeah.
in my novel also, for my character is Kshitij Bhosle. So in that also I've shown a lot. Like on the
Okay.
outside,
Hmm.
it's he has a very rich life, but on the inside he has a lot of sadness within his heart, and also he deals with many mental issues and everything. So that's, I think, recently that's been coming out, like that whole glamorizing, that whole lie,
Yeah.
it's been demystified. So
Okay. But most of the time, we see that the writer, the author, actually impersonates him or herself into the main character. So, how do you feel that Shantanu is similar to Devansh?
uh he's not, in some aspects I think he's
Hmm.
similar to me, like in terms of
Okay.
he's an introvert and I'm an
Okay.
introvert.
Okay.
uh but that, I think there it ends basically, and also he's from he lives in Bombay and I
And you
also.
also live in
But
Bombay. Yeah. Right.
yeah, but other than that, I just uh, I try to see like where he is coming from, his motivations, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a lot like acting actually. When you, like how actors try to get into the minds of the characters. As a writer, you are responsible for getting into the head of every character.
Hmm.
But Shantanu is of course the main one that I try to get into. So, and
Right.
the thing is with that character, like ever since like last many years, the like this kind of man who, like he's led a very hard life, but and he's done like bad things, but he decides to be good for once, try to do one good thing. So that kind of character has been, and I think also like in Bombay you see many of those types of people, like
Yeah.
they lead very hard lives, but they are like kind of forced into it, like they just have to pay the bills, they have to do a lot of stuff, but they want to turn a new leaf. So I think that being surrounded by that also helps a lot. So but that
Right.
character has been, it's almost like a friend to me actually in many ways, because I understand him so well. Yeah.
So, Devansh, all these goons, all these the negative characters. I'm saying the negative characters in inverted commas. They are always looking towards the end result. Actually, there you see there are two theories in ethics. One is deontology, and one is Kantian ethics. And in one perspective, we say that we will gauge the morality of an event by the intention of a person. You see, if my intention is good, I won't bother what is the end result. But there is another perspective when we will always be gauging, we will be always be measuring the morality of an action through the end result. So what you feel is actually in the case of in the case of Shantanu, your lead character, whether he is actually focusing on the end result, like we've seen the character of Subhash Nagre in Sarkar, like that, because he said जो मुझे सही लगता है मैं करता हूँ, because he is actually focusing on the end result, or his motive is all about doing the right thing, his intention is good, or he is focusing on the end result. What your character is doing actually here?
He's more of he's living in the moment mostly, because if
Okay.
you see, he tries to do the good thing, but it ends
Hmm.
up in a very bad way.
In a
That's
mess,
the
yeah,
thing.
that's the thing.
Yeah, he doesn't. The problem with Shantanu is he is not very good at like self leadership, and
Hmm.
he doesn't plan the things that he does like long term. He only lives for
Right.
today.
Right.
So the things that he does, if he's doing a good thing, it only lasts for the day. But overall, long term, there are kind of bad effects. So
Okay.
yeah.
You see, in movies, it's pretty easy for us to see someone in action. So, how difficult it is to present action in story? How did you balance the element of action and storytelling in this book?
I didn't try to do that. I just stayed true to like the characters. I just followed the characters. So that's what I did. Like, it came just naturally, the action and the storytelling. And I think in the second or third draft, maybe I tried to do a bit of like, is it okay? But currently, my
Yeah,
main priority was always to focus on the characters, like where they led me. So,
that's great. That's great. I've also got the free copy from Devansh, but you are not going to get it. You will have to click on the link below, the Amazon link, and you can buy the copy from there. But I would like you to advise to the young writers, the aspiring writers who want to become like you, Devansh. There is a dream of many people to write their first book. So, what would you advise them, the aspiring writers? What is your advice to them?
my main thing is just if you can't stop thinking about a certain project,
Yeah,
then you should go after it because and don't care about like the commercial viability and all that stuff. Like the main thing is just this because before I wrote this novel, I used to constantly think about all this stuff, the underworld and everything. So it
yeah,
fascinated me. So I thought, let's just do it. So that's how the main thing is to just follow your heart and don't be afraid to make mistakes, especially in like the first draft.
mm,
It's going to be tough, but you just
yeah,
have to keep writing. And
right,
one other thing is never stop. Like every single day, try to write something
right,
even if it's like one line or an entire page like that does but try to write some like keep it alive uh, so but and like eventually you'll figure out the thing but these are the two most important things to follow your heart and to do it every single day.
right. But you just said that to forget about the commercial viabilities. So if I am not going to earn anything from my project, what is the motivation for a writer to write a book? Because I've seen only a few people like J.K. Rowling is there, like Paulo Coelho has literally made a fortune out of the books. But we will have to deal with the issues like piracy and many things. You can find many books on torrent as well. There are WhatsApp groups selling all these books. You can find many the self-published useless all that stuff. How do you deal with that? That's literally demoting for an aspiring writers. And maybe you also dealt with that. What's your perspective on all this matter?
My the thing is we shouldn't as a writer it's too much pressure to put like the financial that whole aspect you shouldn't put it on your work. That's what I think. You should for the financial you should have a like a separate income stream. Like currently I do my what I earn mainly from my the articles that I write. For this project I do have zero expectations in terms of like what I would earn. So at least for this
Yeah,
first installment, maybe the later ones I
yeah,
will look like maybe they learn something. But this one I have no goals in terms
uh,
of the financial. I just want to
okay,
spread it as far as possible. So, but that is a thing. But I think in the beginning you shouldn't worry. At least later on, maybe you can look into it more. So.
okay. So Devansh, are there any lessons or insights you gained from your own writing journey? Would you like to share that with our audience?
Uh, Mainly it's just the first is that when you write your draft, like when the first draft is done, always try to write it in a notebook because
Okay,
that brings out a lot of extra content which you otherwise wouldn't have been there.
okay,
And other than that, it's mainly it's just what I said before. Always write about something that you find very interesting and you can't stop thinking about. So that will bring out a lot more. So and yeah, just overall from this, what I've learned is uh, marketing is very important.
yeah,
Like before. I did any of my books. I have total like 3 books published. So I always thought that if I write really well,
Yeah,
like it will be discovered by itself and it will become a bestseller. But that isn't true. Like things like they don't get like discovered automatically. You have to like make a lot of effort to market them and ensure that people get to see it. So yeah, for this book,
that's correct.
I'll that's one of my biggest lessons actually to. And also the thing is, marketing is so important. You need to start thinking about it during the writing process. Like,
Right.
how can I make, how can I make this book marketable? So that's the thing. Yeah, so
That's
that's
right.
one of my biggest lessons with marketing has to be like,
Hmm.
for example, Arnold said, if you can't sell something, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist. That is
Exactly.
very important. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Because even if you have extremely big talent, if you have very special hard skills, but if you could not market it, it's useless. It's literally useless. I often
yeah,
feel that best written are not bestsellers, and
yeah,
bestsellers are not best written. I
yeah,
have read so many books. I'm also an avid reader like you. When I read Alchemist for the first time, I was literally disappointed. It's good, but
me too.
it's not really worth the hype that we've been getting. So I
Yeah,
felt the same thing from many in the case of movies as well. You see, the top chart of the movies, you will get Shawshank Redemption. That's a exemplary, phenomenal, exceptional movie, but it exists nowhere. Commercially, it's a flop.
yeah,
It's a flop. So I personally feel I would agree with your perspective that one must always be considering the part of marketing from the very inception when you were writing the draft. But you said that you wrote the entire draft on your notebook first. Why so? Were you not comfortable writing it on a laptop, or did you later on hire another writer to do the copy typing from your draft and write entire 60,000 words, as you just said? Was that your
no,
creative process? Yeah.
I wrote the book first. Like, I wrote each chapter in the computer and then I
Okay.
copied to the notebook. So the process, the what I found was the process of writing it itself brought a lot of new content, like just ideas. So
Okay.
that those I wrote on the side, and then I kept
Okay.
writing. And then when I copied over myself from the notebook to
Okay.
the computer, and even
Okay.
when typing that, then even I got new ideas. So the process was like you keep getting new stuff every time you create
Huh.
a new version of the book.
Yeah. So how much
Yeah,
time you took to do the first draft getting done? How much time was there?
I think around 1 year.
1 year. For one
Yeah,
year you kept on working like every day or uh,
yeah.
so didn't you deal with the writer's block anytime?
No, the writer's block didn't come because I was
Hmm.
fascinated with the thing. So I
Okay.
just kept writing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. If you find it so interesting, then the words will just come out.
Okay. Had you faced that thing, I would have definitely asked you what is the solution to this problem. Devansh, thank you so much for being on my podcast. It was literally a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.